Peter Theo Curtis near the Syrian border about 2 years ago. Officials now expect him to be reunited with his family. His freedom comes, as you know, just days after that horrific video that we saw. The terror group ISIS posted a graphic video showing the beheading of American journalist James Foley. Dominic DiNatale picks up the story from our West Coast newsroom. Dom?
Hey there, Harris. Yes, let's tell you a little bit about Peter Curtis. He was a writer specializing in Syria and also Yemen. He went missing in Turkey in 2012 as he was preparing to go to Syria, apparently under the guise of a teacher of English. That's often how journalists often try and get into the country when they can't be allowed to go in as a journalist. So we've had a second video. Harris, you and I were talking a little earlier, talking about one video that had been released. A second has now emerged in which he appears that he was being held under duress. Listen to this.
I have a message for governments in France and America and England, across Europe. It has been 20 days now. 20 days you have had 20 days to contact Ibrahim Ali Basha. He is the only person who can save me. My life is in very, very, very grave danger. I have 3 days. They're giving me 3 days to live. 3 days. If you don't do anything, I'm finished. I'm dead.
Now, the family had very much kept under wraps that he was being held, which is perhaps why we're only seeing this video right now. But his family releasing this statement coming from his mother, Nancy, saying that, "Please know that we are eternally grateful and we appeal to the captors of the remaining hostages to release them in the same humanitarian spirit that prompted Theo's release." But there's one thing here, Harris. Those that were holding Peter are not necessarily the same ones that are holding the other US journalists, one of whom has been threatened to be executed imminently. Back to you.
Yeah, well, and in fact, what we know about this group, this al-Nusra group, is that it actually had a split with ISIS and al-Qaeda, and they've actually fought each other, if in fact that's the group that was holding him. I'm curious to know, what is the White House's role in the release of Curtis?
Well, we don't know how direct it's been because they have a close relationship with the Qataris. The Qataris, on the behalf of the United States, have brokered all sorts of agreements, including one recently, very controversially, with the Taliban. So we know that they will have been operating on their behalf. Now, Secretary of State John Kerry saying the White House and the US government very relieved, issuing this statement which gives us an idea of perhaps just who was involved. He says the United States reached out to more than 24 countries asking for urgent help to secure Theo's release and the release of any Americans held hostage in Syria. We continue to use every diplomatic, intelligence and military tool at our disposal to find them and bring our fellow citizens home. Quite whether the Qataris actually have any direct involvement with Islamic State, who are holding at least one US journalist. In fact, we understand they're holding 20 journalists in total. How many of those are American, we can't actually confirm. But if the Qataris do have any influence over them, and they are Sunnis, so they may be able to reach them, there could be some movement on that. But, you know, that really is a big prayer. Back to you.
Yeah. Great information there from you, Dom. Your experience in the field, I know you know that part of the world so well. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, as